Mm. Good Shabbos, people. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear us? Let's all kind of tune together. Ooh, D-Team, can you hear these folks here? Ooh, but like everyone who's here, ooh, kind of take a moment to take a deep breath in and exhale. And if you're a harmony person, you could go, ooh. Fun with that. I kind of wanted to try teaching you a new nigun tonight. Sounds like this. Ooh. A verse sounds. Try that. Open up our prayer books, maybe something a little more familiar. I'm on page 1. Yedi nefesh harachama mishohavdach eretzona yarutz avdach kemoya Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
All right, so for everybody who's over on this side of the room especially, but I can't really see over here, if as people walk in, you see individuals who look like they're looking for seats and they have that sort of deer in headlights, forlorn, oh no, have I just walked in and everyone's staring at me look on their face, which of course everyone is because you can't help but look that way. Smile at them and point out, like hold up a hand and be like, are you looking for, do the thing where you sort of motion with your hand in your face, like sit next to me, kind of thing. Thank you. Because I feel like now that it's 20 minutes after services are supposed to start, the real Jews walk in. Sorry. Okay. It's really nice to be back in this room together, even if the reason is because Second Unitarian is still under construction. However, at the end of the construction, you should know there will be an elevator in that space. I know, right? So for
For everyone who's familiar with the history of Mishkan, we've been going for over a decade to a wonderful, quaint little church that's over 100 years old and was, of course, built without an elevator, which means that when we have dinner upstairs, many people can't get up the stairs. And so it will be a much more accessible place. In the meantime, however, we're just going to keep doing Friday nights in here, which we love, and they feel really cozy and warm and wonderful. And for anybody who does have littles, there's a little carpet over there that they can crawl around on and a babysitter in the other room. Not that we're trying to kick you out, just so you know your options. Also, any adults who feel like you need to go with a babysitter in the other room or to sit on the carpet, those are your options. Oh, God. This week was a week in which, depending on which filter bubble you live in, you might have had an absolutely brutal week for reasons I'll talk about in a minute, or maybe this was just a standard hard week in 2025, you know. So I want to say something as we begin tonight, because I know people are coming in from so many different places, locationally and also emotionally, mentally, and social media-y. So for many folks in our community, the past 3 days have been absolute agony. And our hearts and social media feeds have been full of the images of, well, the faces of Kfir and Ariel Bibas, the children in the Bibas family who were kidnapped from their homes on October 7th as a 9-month-old baby and a 4-year-old child, and that they were returned as, you know, part of the ceasefire hostage prisoner exchange, you know, in body bags to their family this week, clearly having been savagely murdered probably over a year ago. And the past 15 months have been a horror show of death and destruction and loss for Palestinians and Israelis. But for many in our community, there was something about like the sweet faces of these children that embodied the abject trauma for everybody of this moment. They had become kind of like household names and faces for many people. They felt familiar. They felt like family. You know, we've been praying for them, and many people really, until this past week, were holding out hope for their safe return. Like maybe they'd made it. Maybe they survived. And so the confirmation of their death feels like newly fresh and awful, you know, like a new wound being opened up. And in a conflict, I know this is a heavy way to begin services, but it's actually a sort of an intro to Kabbalat Shabbat in a strange way. In a conflict that has so dehumanized the other, whoever the other is, I really want to acknowledge the way in which the Jewish community so deeply humanized this family. And it means that we are grieving collectively in such a powerful way. And I hope and pray that the way that we have humanized this family might be extended to all children, that all children might be given the gift of being humanized, as this family has been, because no child deserves to be born into conflict and pay for it with the price of their lives. No child. And so let the way in which our community grieves for these children strengthen our resolve, not for revenge, but for ending the kind of dehumanization that makes this kind of savagery possible. That's my prayer. And so we have a tradition on Friday nights that when someone is freshly mourning, they don't actually come to this section of the service. They don't come to Kabbalat Shabbat because it just feels too incongruous. Like the joy of the service. Last Friday night, Rabbi Stephen talked about how Kabbalat Shabbat is this experience of joy to kind of be a counterbalance to the pain and suffering of the week. However, if somebody is coming off of a period, of fresh grief, it feels too incongruous to sit in this space of joy. And so traditionally, they'll come in after Lecha Dodi. after, one of the poems toward the end of Kabbalat Shabbat. And there are some people for whom it is precisely this kind of joy that is a salve and a healing balm to the kind of sadness that the week has been. And so there is no right way to embody grief. Something I was saying to the davening team before we began here is that one of the things I've been most frustrated by, actually, in the last 15 months is how individuals processing grief differently will project the way that they feel grief onto others and be upset with others for not feeling grief the way that they feel grief, and judge others for not feeling grief the way that they feel grief. And so I'm really here to say to you, however it is that you are embodying the grief and sadness of this moment is authentic, and you're entitled to it. And if the way that you want to be in this space is to be slightly off to the side, or to stand and to dance and to sing, because it's what you need in this moment, that's what we're here for. And so for everybody who is here in this room with us, who hasn't chosen to get up and leave, and everybody who's online, welcome. We're so glad you're here. I want to ask us to do what the very first words of the psalm on page 2 ask us to do, which is lechu, kind of turn ourselves, change, make a shift, go, which is to say, let's sit up a little bit straighter. And exhale and shed any ambient stress you walked in here with tonight. You can exhale it. I want to invite you as you sit up straighter to maybe even close your eyes and relax your shoulders, roll them down your scapula. Give your jaw a little massage, relax your jaw. And sit up a little bit straighter. Beyonce says you can't wear your crown with your head down. Shabbat is about reclaiming the dignity of our humanity. There's a line actually in the Chadodi that says, wake up, get out of the dirt, put on garments that radiate your beauty. So that's what we come in here to do with Kabbalat Shabbat. That's what we're building toward, to reclaim our humanity. Strong back, soft front. Seems like your eyes are open already, but take a moment to use them to smile at somebody across from you. And maybe find somebody else and smile at them too. I'll take a moment to actually love the humans we're in this room with, and to expand the circle of dignity and humanity and empathy, starting with our family and extending beyond. So we're on page 2. Let's sing. Can I ask who's in the room for the first time tonight? Is there anybody who's here in Mishkan for the first time? Yeah, welcome. You get applause. I know that was sort of an intense intro, but welcome. Welcome here to you. So here's what you can do. This is, so many of our songs have a lot of words. Some of them just have a few words. Kabbalat Shabbat is a series of psalms, one for each day of the week. And this one, it's like if you just want to say the word lechu over and over again, to embody that shift from the week into Shabbos, into this space of rest and openness and transformation, you can just say lechu like this, lechu. Try that, lechu. Lechu. And you can keep doing that, and anyone who wants to join me can sing lechu. Niranana Adonai.
תזמירות נריע לו.
We're at the bottom of 2. 40 שנה כות בדור, ואומר המטועה לבבם, והם לא ידעו דרכי, אשר נשבעתי באפי, אם יבואון אל מנוחתי.
Help me sit down. I just want to sit like everybody else. Thank you.
We're on 3. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru miyom leyom, Yeshuato, Sapru v'goyim, kevodo b'chol ha'amim, nivlo
into the middle of 5. Or zaru ala tzadik uli Yisrael simcha simchot tzadikim baronai vehodu lezecher kodsho mizmor shul Adonai shir chadash ki niflaot asa hoshia lo yamino uzroa kodsho dial Adonai Yeshuato linei goyim gilat tzikato.
Every corner of the earth is aware of God's salvation.
We pick up in the middle of 6. There's a down toward the bottom of Psalm 99, it describes Moses and Aaron and all of the elders calling on God, and God speaking to them from a pillar of cloud and giving them the Torah. And so this week, a rabbi and meditation teacher in my orbit named Rabbi Yael Shai wrote the following, sort of a poem, imagining this moment. She writes, and then Moses, Aaron, and his sons and the 70 elders went up. And there on the mountain, they saw God. They gazed at God. They saw that under God's feet was shining sapphire like the very essence of heaven. Go look it up. It's in this week's Torah portion. And then what? Did they fall on their faces? Did they shout, Kadosh, 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 holy, holy, holy? Did they turn away trembling? Moshe, Aaron, his sons, and the 70 elders beheld God, and the text says they ate and drank. They beheld God, and they sat down for a meal. This response of embracing their humanness always surprises me. And today I hear in the Torah's story, B'makom she'ein ish, hishtadel lehiot ish, in a place where there is no humanity, strive to be human. In a time when so much of what is decent and fair and just and compassionate and kind is being ransacked, do not give in to the temptation to be harsh and divisive and hateful in response. Practice every day to live with sacred intent. In the words of our teacher and friend, Rabbi Sharon Kleinbaum, be a reason for people to believe in the goodness of humanity. Let's keep ascending together. Moshe ve'Aharon ve'Kohanav u'Shmuel bekorei Shemo korim el Adonai ve'hu ya'aneh Be'amuranam yidaber aleihem shomru edotav v'chok natan lamo Adonai Eloheinu ata anita נושא היית להם, ונוקם על עלילותם. רוממו, אדוני אלוהינו, והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו. We stand, just like we're ascending Sinai. Mizmor LaDavid. Havul Adonai b'nei Eli. Havul Adonai. Havul Adonai. Kevod shemo ishtachavu l'Adonai. Behadrat kodesh. Kol Adonai. Al hamayim el hakavod. Hirim Adonai. Amayim rabim. Kol Adonai. Va'koach. Ay, Kol Adonai. Lehadar Kol Adonai. Shover arazim. Yishaber Adonai. Et arze halevanon. Vayarkidem. Moegal Lebanon. We can take a seat. We're on 8. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Mekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Mekabela Ishmiya
hand as we face the door we walked in. And welcome in the Shabbos queen, the Shabbos bride. Ask yourself, what is it today, in this moment, and for Shabbat that you want to call in into yourself? You want to carry with you in this service, but also carry out of this service into the next 24 hours to bless and grace your life and everyone who encounters you on this holy and restful day. Boi beshalom, ateret ba'ala, gam besimcha uvtola, toch emunei am segula. We bow and welcome Boi kala, Boi kala. Nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. And for anyone who is experiencing mourning freshly, we offer the words at the bottom of page 9. We've said these many times. So to anyone in this room who needs to hear these words and far beyond. Hamakom yenachem etchem betoch sha'ar avlei Tzion Yerushalayim. May the Holy One give you consolation together with all of our people among the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem and everyone who is mourning in this moment. And we're going to turn to 11 to close out Kabbalat Shabbat with Benji's tune.
Tzadik katamar yifrach Ke'eres balvanon yizkeh Shetulim bevet Adonai Bechatzot Eloheinu yafrihu Od yenuvun beseva Tishenim verananim yiyu Od yenuvun beseva Tishenim verananim yiyu Leagir ki yashar Hashem Tzuri velo avlata bo Leagir ki yashar Hashem Tzuri velo avlata bo Tzadik katamar yifrach Ke'eres balvanon yizkeh Shetulim bevet Adonai Bechatzot Elohim Yashar Hashem, Tzuri velo avlatavo, lehagid ki yashar Hashem, Tzuri velo avlatavo. Tzadik atamar yitzvah, yizkeh. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, good Shabbos. So good Shabbos to you and you, and also with you.
And me.
And you. Well, if no one's told you yet today, I'm grateful that you're here. To all of you. We've got our amazing davening team. We've got Jenna and Bex and Lauren and Benji and Emily and Sam on the drum.
Yeah.
And Rabbi Lizzie. And I'm Rabbi Steven. And you're at Mishkan.
Hello.
Hopefully you intended to be here, because real awkward if not. We have a tradition of welcoming those who are here for the very first time. That's why we out you early, so you can't hide from us. No, it's so that we can love on you later, after services, when we're all wandering about and we see you and we're like, oh my God, you're new here, welcome. But we can't do that if we don't know who you are. So we're going to take a moment and we're going to go around. We have our handy dandy mic so that we can hear you in this room, and also so that folks online can hear you as well. And we'd love for you to just, is this already on? Yeah. Love you to just stand up, introduce yourself, what's your name, where are you from, like in Chicago terms, where do you live, because we got a lot of neighborhood pride here, and
We do
suburban
have
pride as well.
neighborhood pride, yeah.
And what brought you here, like in a sentence?
In a sentence.
In a sentence. We're going to pass the mic, like the limbic torch.
Oh boy.
You got this.
Hi, I'm Adam Singer. Nice to meet you all.
Welcome.
I grew up in Schaumburg. Originally went to Beth Tikva congregation in Hoffman Estates. What brought me here is the need for Jewish community and acceptance of all Jewish experiences.
Well, Adam, we're glad you're here. Who else is new? We're going to pass it. So, you just got called out. So it's like somebody's hiding back there.
Hi, I'm Kristen. I'm originally from Northwest Indiana. We live in the Irving Park, Albany Park area. Originally went to Anshe Emmett. I'm just looking for a closer knit community. I'm in the Being class online as well.
Right. Love
Nice
it.
to see you, Kristen.
Welcome.
Glad you're here.
I'm Scott. I grew up in Indianapolis. Now I live in Irving, Albany Park. I don't know, just looking for something different. We were at Anshe Emet and just trying to explore different groups of Jews in the area and find where we fit.
Well, we're glad that you explored this way, but we share. We will share. So maybe some folks over here. I feel like I saw a new person over that way. If you just want to pass the mic.
It's a bonding exercise for everybody.
Hello, my name is Eric. I live in the Bucktown, Logan Square, Humboldt Park intersection area of Chicago. Been not very observant in a number of years and looking to find a community to connect with.
Beautiful. Glad you're here, Eric. Welcome. Who else? Any other new folks? Raise your hand so we know where to send the mic. All the way over here? Great, we'll pass it that way.
Hey, folks. My name's Ryan. I'm from Wisconsin originally. Went to school down here in Chicago. Moved back here in 2020, and I'm here with my girlfriend, Alex, who works here at Mishkan.
Well, we love Alex, so by extension, we love you as well. Anybody else? See, it's not so painful, right? Yeah? Amazing. Well, welcome, folks. We're so glad that you're all here. Just a few announcements before we... Oh, no, we got more. See? It's exciting and fun. Everybody wants to do it.
No, I'm good.
Oh, no, any other new people? No? Okay, great. Okay. False alarm. I got excited. But even if you're not new here, I'm also still glad you are here. We'll be back together next Shabbat, Saturday morning, and also beginning that day. If you want to show up a little bit early, I'll be starting a regular Mishnah study. So if you want to come a little bit early to
regular
services.
Mishkan study?
Mishnah study.
Mishnah, what's that?
What's the Mishnah? Well, let me tell you. It's a compendium of rabbinic thought from about 0 to 200 CE that forms the first base layer of the rabbinic tradition. And so if you would like to dive into some text, it's really beautiful, easy to understand Hebrew. We'll also have English as well for non-Hebrew speakers. And we'll be spending like 30 minutes just to look at like a Mishnah at a time. It'll be super fun. Bring your coffee, and there'll be more coffee afterwards. And then the following Friday, we alternate Saturday, Friday. Following Friday, we'll be back together, and we'll be doing a hygiene kit drive then for our newest arrivals in our communities with our new arrival welcome team. The big event coming up, though, really, truly is Purim. It is in a few weeks. It is on the 13th of March, leading into St. Patrick's Day weekend, so gird your livers. But there's a lot to do before Purim. We have, just like Queen Esther, a book reading with Rabbi Ari, who's on her staff and wrote an amazing book about gender creative, gender expansive kids. We also have our Dancing Queens Family Purim coming up on the 9th. We've got Hamantash and Havdalah for 20s and 30s. We have our heroines in Hagim, studying with Julia, who I saw earlier. Where are you, Julia? There you are. If you want to learn about heroines in Hagim, go talk to her. And also our Unsubstance Purim, our disability and chronic illness after party. There is so much happening, plus our small groups and our support groups. I swear our newsletter gets longer and longer every week, but that's just because there is so much good stuff happening in our community. But other than that, is there anything else I'm missing?
I mean, just because it's my book group, I want to
Oh, yeah, your book group too.
We're reading Heschel's The Sabbath. And for anybody who wants to discuss and maybe even create kind of like a Shabbat practice group, you know, like Jews who practice Shabbat. No, but the idea is
not unlike the people in this room.
No, but the idea is actually, I would imagine that everyone in this room struggles in different ways with actually resting on the day of rest and putting away the things that might get in the way of resting. And so the question is like, how do you build community in a community where not everybody's resting in the same way, but you all are aspiring toward this ideal of rest? And so reading Heschel's The Sabbath, which is a transformational book, very short, very dense, but we'll get together on a Saturday afternoon to learn it. So you've got like 2 weeks to read the whole book. And join us if you want.
It's a condensed book. You can.
Yes.
That's definitely accomplishable.
Yeah, but anyway, all of this is on our calendar and in our emails, which aren't that long. Don't scare people.
No, like long in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You know.
Abundant.
Abundant,
Yes.
plentiful, bountiful. Thank you. Should we dive in?
I think so.
Okay, great.
Yes, okay.
Should we rise as we're
Yes,
able?
we shall.
We're
We
on page
shall.
13.
Yes,
We're on page
okay.
13. I'm going to invite you all to face east, which is towards the arcs that way. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai havarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch hamevorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah melech haolam. You can turn around and be seated in your seat if you'd like to. Umaver yom umbin laila, umavdil ben yom ben laila, Adonai tzavot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hamari v'aravi. We flip the page to page 14. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגע יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. I invite you to cover your eyes. We take one deep, intentional breath for each word of the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך Speak of that when you're ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך When you rise up ואהבת
past year and a half, this prayer that we come back to time and time again in our services, Mi chamocha, these words that you'll find on page 18. We say them multiple times a day. They're the words that our people sang standing in freedom on the shore of the Sea of Reeds, a story that we just finished reading actually a few weeks ago. And it has become for me a kind of prayer for those who are still in captivity, our Israeli brothers, sisters, and siblings, for those living under the threat of violence, of bombs falling from the sky, our Palestinian brothers and sisters and siblings, people closer to home, people who are worried about ice showing up at their doorstep or living without a place to go, shelter in the winter. It's become a prayer for each and every one of these people that they might soon sing this song with us, free from want and free from harm, free from captivity, free as human beings are meant to be, as the arc of our history teaches us. So if you want to think of somebody, any place close to you, maybe yourself or around the world, in need of this prayer for freedom right now, bring them into this room. As we sing a little bit of freedom their direction.
Mi chamocha, Baili Madonai, Mi chamocha, Edar Bakodesh. Top of 19. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, עמידנו מלכנו לחיים, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, תקננו בעצה טובה לפניך,
Shemashim Leman Shemecha.
That is your essence. May you protect us and banish from us enemies and plague and sword and hunger and pain.
Shmor Tzeitenu Volim L'chaim L'shalom Me'ata Ve'ad Olam Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha Baruch Ata Adonai Haporei Sukat Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael Ve'al Yerushalayim. V'shamru Enei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Ledorotam berit olam Beini ubein Bnei Yisrael Oti leolam, oti leolam, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam. וביום השביעי שבת בין הפש, שבת בין הפש, שבת בין הפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ויתגדל ויתקדש מרבה, ועמד יברך ויראה וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וימלכון חיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ובמרו. יהי שמי רבה וברך לעולם ולעולם. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בימה ואמרו אמן.
We're going to take a moment for personal silent prayer. You can use the words of the Amidah, which begin on page 21. And they extend all the way through 27. You can use whatever words come to your heart or mind, or simply just take this moment for silence. The tradition is to take 3 very small steps back and 3 very small steps forward, as if entering a space all of your own. And when you feel your prayer is complete, you may be seated.
Those folks are finishing their own Amidah. Take your time. I want to introduce what's happening tonight. So on any given week, you know, the challenge is to synthesize what's going on in the world, you know, in the wider world and in the Torah portion, and kind of make sense of it spiritually. That's our task every week. But some weeks we actually know far in advance what we're going to be talking about, because it's a week that's been claimed by a Jewish organization. And this week is one of those weeks. And the reason is because this is the Parsha in the Torah. This is the section of the weekly Torah reading, Parshat Mishpatim, that has been designated Repro Shabbat, like the Shabbat where we talk about the Jewish commitment to reproductive rights and freedom, because of a particular verse that the National Council of Jewish Women claimed, but really has always been there, and is the reason why the Jewish tradition is so unusually committed to bodily autonomy, especially for a tradition as ancient as the Jewish tradition is. And so the National Council of Jewish Women for the past few years, actually before the overturning of Roe v. Wade, identified this as a week on the calendar for us to talk about this issue as a Jewish community all over the country and even world, when I think as the movement to ban and outlaw reproductive freedom became more and more ascendant, and so this became only even more important after Roe v. Wade was overturned. This is the week when there's a particular verse in the Torah that basically makes clear the Jewish tradition considers the life of the mother to be absolutely primary, and that we know how intense, personal, and serious the decision to end a pregnancy is for any person. And in the Jewish tradition, that is a decision made between a woman or the person carrying the baby, a partner if there is one, family, God, tradition, doctor, period. As in to say not the government interfering one way or the other. In fact, after Roe v. Wade was overturned, there were synagogues and rabbis in Florida that filed a brief challenging the courts, saying that it actually challenged the religious freedom of Jewish people to make it not possible for Jews to observe the way that we observe our tradition, which is to say, at any point in a pregnancy, I mean, obviously it is ideal to do it as early as possible, but in the Jewish tradition, if at any point the life of the mother is threatened, the life of the person carrying that child is always given primacy. So we're very pro-life in that way, meaning the life of the person who exists in the world already. And so this is an issue that I think, I just grew up understanding Judaism to be pro-choice, period. I didn't really learn why until much later in life, the verses in the Torah, which you're welcome to go and read. But I think the really important thing is that we don't just know this, we talk about this. We bring this into discourse. This becomes not something that anyone feels ashamed to talk about or doesn't know who to turn to when facing this kind of a decision or situation, but actually we have these kinds of conversations and they become not scary. And it's really powerful when individuals are willing to share their own experience, and when organizations come forward to help people not be afraid to do what they need to do to live, to claim their lives, and live them, and have children at the right time in the right way when they are ready if they wish. So I want to introduce Alex Harity, who works here at Mishkan, who's got her own story, and then Alicia Hurtado from the Chicago Abortion Fund, who's going to share with us about the work of that organization. And this is an issue I know that is so dear to so many in our community. Elizabeth Posner sitting over here. We have many leaders in the, I would say, pro-choice and reproductive rights movement in Illinois and in America in our community. They have spoken on this Shabbat and on other weekends. And so it's an issue I know that we're all really committed to and grateful to be hearing from you from tonight. So, Alex, take it away.
I never thought that doing an undergraduate theater program entirely in the round would pay off, but wow, those student loans are looking real good right now. Hi, my name is Alex, and yes, I am the project manager here at MishCon. If you've encountered any weird issues with our webcal or Shul Cloud in the last 6 months, I'm so sorry. That was probably me. I'm here at MishCon after spending the last 8 years in Austin, Texas, infamously called the Blueberry in Texas's Tomato Soup by current Lieutenant Governor Rick Perry. When I tell people that I voluntarily chose to move to Texas after growing up in Wisconsin, actually about an hour and a half north of here, I get the same reaction, a very sincere, well-meaning, why? Believe me, no one knew what to do with my decision to commit to a university in Texas. I spent most of my days hearing about how idiotic Texas was. Texas and its many secession threats were even a running joke in my AP US history class in high school. Now, on what's known as Repro Shabbat is the perfect time to answer that emphatic why. On June 25th, 2013, then Texas State Senator Wendy Davis performed a filibuster to block Texas Senate Bill 5, a proposal to ban abortions after 20 weeks of pregnancy, required physicians to have hospital admitting privileges within 30 miles of an abortion facility, required abortions, even drug-induced ones, to be performed in an ambulatory surgery center, and required doctors to administer drugs that induced abortion in person. This was a move by Texas Republicans to try and hinder abortion access under the guise of caring about the health and safety of women. Texas is huge. It's double the size of Germany and slightly larger than France. This would have dwindled the number of abortion clinics from 42 to 5. 2 in Houston, 1 in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, 1 in Austin, and 1 in San Antonio. 5 clinics to serve about 30 million people. It wasn't an effort to protect women. It was trying to exploit a legal loophole to close clinics and limit the reproductive rights of Texans. On June 25th, 2013, 16-year-old Alex was watching the live stream of the Texas Senate hearing with rapt attention. I was learning on the fly about the misogyny in the Texas Senate. Previous filibusters had been allowed to read children's books, sit down, etc., but none of those senators were female, and also about the politics around abortion. In a time where many people are sitting and asking themselves, what will radicalize me? Let me point to that moment in time and say that moment radicalized me. It dawned on me that, surprise, surprise, Texas wasn't a monolith, and there were people on the ground trying to change things. Senator Davis was one of the major reasons I committed to my small, social justice-oriented liberal arts university in Austin, not UT. Almost 10 years later, on June 24th, 2022, I was at work, still in Austin, still in Texas, 3 years post-college graduation. I was about to discover that one of my least favorite parts of being an adult is how often world-changing news seems to break during normal business hours. My boss at the time, Lauren, and I were 2 out of 3 women who worked at this small company. One of the first things we bonded over was a mutual hatred for Greg Abbott, the Texas governor, and a love of NPR. So there we are at work, and we'd been anxiously refreshing news sites since the Dobbs decision was leaked. Do you know that weird, hot, tingly feeling you get right before you're gonna throw up? That was the wave we were riding while actively trying to do our jobs. We're extremely fortunate that here in Illinois and many other blue states across the country, where we have state and local government to provide a bubble of protection from what I can only think to call malicious shenanigans, whereas in Texas, we knew that we'd be looking at an immediate trigger ban on abortions, most likely with no exception in cases of rape or incest. Governor Abbott was and is always willing to enact the newest oppressive legislation pushed forth by Republicans at the national level. Eventually, Lauren went out back to our dock for a break in the doom scrolling. She'd been gone about less than 5 minutes when the frantic refreshing paid off, and the New York Times Instagram broke the news. I raced out the back door to find her, and I really had planned on trying to soften the blow, but what ended up leaving my mouth was a run of frantic words followed by me thrusting my phone in her face. She said, "I wish you had told me literally anything else." We sat in the hot Texas summer sun, chain smoking and crying because frankly, we didn't know what else to do. There is no handbook on what to do when your rights have been taken away. The most alarming part of that day was having to go back to work and assume business as usual. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say we were the only two people who cared that our reality had changed. I remember Lauren telling another coworker who has a young daughter, and his reply was, "Wow, that's rough," and then asked if we were ready for an upcoming meeting. On my way home from work, I told a friend to come over so we wouldn't be trying to process what felt like the end of the world alone. We did the only thing that we could think of. We marathoned MTV's Catfish and split an ice cream cake. Hearing about a state not having an exception for rape or incest is one thing. Suddenly standing in that state is another. Suddenly people are looking into stockpiling Plan B, looking into IUD options in the event that they came for birth control next, and planning to save up on PTO in case of emergency. I think for myself, growing up in Wisconsin, I thought Roe was safe. Something that had been in place for so long, challenged but stood strong, would not or could not get overturned. The repercussions became evident fast. There were people protesting, people publicly celebrating, and a lot of people wondering where to go from here, literally. If the ethical move was to leave Texas for a safer state in which to raise a family, or just to have a uterus themselves. For me, the immediate impact was a 2-hour wait on the phone with my doctor's office to schedule a consultation for medical sterilization. The procedure was something I'd been thinking about for a while. I have a couple of degenerative health issues that don't lend themselves to pregnancy, and honestly, the entire idea of pregnancy kind of wigs me out, but maybe that's just because I saw clips from Alien when I was in grade school. I made the decision to have the surgery because I, at the time, was married and thinking that I would live in Texas for the rest of my life. So if something happened and my IUD had failed, I'd just be screwed. Also, my neurologist at the time no longer wanted to prescribe me a type of medication for my migraines until after my sterilization surgery because, quote, it wasn't safe for pregnancy, which was honestly a baffling thing to have a doctor say to my face. 2 weeks ago, Rabbi Lizzie spoke about the 1/5 of Israelites who left Egypt with Moses and asked a really great question. Why didn't the remaining 4/5 also go? What was keeping them there? Why would you elect to stay in a place that was once openly hostile towards your existence? Well, I can't tell you why they stayed, but I can tell you why I didn't immediately leave. I had a partner who didn't want to move. All of my friends live in Austin. I had my job, and I couldn't just go. In fact, the only reason I'm here talking to you right now is because I got divorced and laid off in that order. And now I'm in Chicago. I moved here and started at Mishkan back in August, right before the high holidays. I'm in a city that's proud of its connections to reproductive rights history. I'm in a community with people who value human rights and bodily autonomy. I'm back in a place where I don't feel like I have to fight to be seen as a whole human. I'm the contingency plan in case my friends in Texas need an abortion. I wish I could close on something that was universally comforting about where we go from here. Call your senators and congresspeople, support organizations like the Chicago Abortion Fund that are doing the work to help people across the country get access to abortions and reproductive care. And thank you for Rabbi Lizzie and Rabbi Stephen. Oh my God! Rabbi Lizzie and Rabbi Stephen for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, good.
Thank you, Alex.
Hello,
Thank
can
you.
everyone hear me okay? Am I good to go?
You're good to go.
Amazing. Hello, everyone. First of all, sorry, I have all these things up here to...
You want a mic stand?
No. I'm all good. Hello, everyone. My name's Alicia. I'm here with the Chicago Abortion Fund. At CAF, I am the Director of Advocacy and Communications, but I've been with CAF for a little over 4 years now and started as an intern, actually moved here from Texas, so great to hear some anti-Texas slander in terms of the people. There's great people in
and to
Texas.
everyone who's a Mishkanite watching in Texas, we have at least one family. We love you.
Yes, we love Texas. We love Texas. We hate the politicians in Texas, many of the politicians in Texas. But yes, I'm so grateful that we were invited, we being CAF and me, being me, were invited to come speak today. As you can imagine, it's been a really hard time to be doing this work, really for the last 2 years, but even beyond that, there's been a slow erosion that we really saw this point coming for quite some time. And so I really do think it's these moments that make me feel more grounded, make me feel more hopeful, and just allow me to see that there's such a vibrant community of people who are standing with us as we're supporting people through what are just truly horrific barriers to accessing basic health care. But I'm going to start on the remarks that I wrote because I could talk all day if I didn't read them directly from a script. But just in case some of y'all don't know about the Chicago Abortion Fund, we are Illinois' statewide abortion fund. We've been in existence for 40 years now. It's our 40th anniversary. And we provide financial, logistical, and emotional support for people who are facing barriers to abortion care. And that looks like coordinating funding to fill appointment cost gaps, booking travel via plane, bus, or train, supporting with lodging, providing direct assistance for gas money, childcare, contraceptives, pain medications, heat pads, and really just at the end of the day, holding someone from point A to point B to sometimes point C to make sure that they can access the abortion care that they want and need and deserve. Really, I think just level setting values wise, nobody should have to navigate any arduous financial or logistical barriers to accessing abortion care. They should not have to leave their community for common health care, and nobody should have to weigh decisions about affording basic necessities for themselves or their families against affording health care that will shape their futures. But unfortunately, the reality is that many people are making these tough decisions, and many people, primarily across the South and the Midwest, are relying on Illinois to access the abortion care that they want. And we at CAF have been seeing people last year alone, we fielded 16,000 support requests on our helpline. These people came from 40 states across the country. Some of the top states that we were seeing folks from were Indiana, Illinois, and Texas. And Illinois has actually fielded the highest increase in abortions post-Dobbs. So we're fielding the highest amount of people who are being forced to travel out of state for health care. This is higher than the next two states combined. So Florida and Texas have just under 20,000 increase in abortions, and Illinois has fielded an increase of 42,000 post-Dobbs, and that's only with the most recent counts, so I can't even imagine now that Florida has a 6-week ban what the new numbers will be. That's all to say, we, over the last 5 years, have not had to turn away a single person who was relying on Illinois for the support that they needed. And we're really proud to be doing this work supported by our community so that we don't have to turn folks away, and also to be doing this work in Illinois specifically. Illinois did not become this national access point by accident. It took a lot of hard work and advocacy and busting abortion stigma from folks before me at CAF, as well as advocates, elected officials who were champions of the work, folks in our communities advocating for abortion access and telling their stories. And at CAF, I think the really central pillar to what we do every day is making sure that all of the protections that we have worked so hard to build here in Illinois are not just accessible to the people who can afford to pay for care and afford to travel to our state. And just to share a bit of, I guess, just snapshots of the people that we're supporting. It's really, I like to say there's not one story on our helpline. Clearly there's over 16,000 stories on our helpline, and that means that we support folks from all walks of life, all backgrounds, all experiences. I've supported a mom and her daughter flying from Texas to pick up abortion pills in the state of Illinois after Dobbs fell. I supported a CPS high school student who was on her parents' insurance and wasn't really sure where she could go to access care in a private way. I supported a family that had just moved to Illinois and they couldn't afford to raise another child in the midst of all the expenses of moving. I supported a nursing student who was so angry on the phone with me that she had to go to another state. She was studying in Indiana, and she just couldn't believe that she had to leave her state to access healthcare when she was training to become a healthcare professional in the state where she lived. At CAF, I've supported people who are younger than me, older than me, students, teachers, parents, even grandparents. I've helped people from my home state of Texas, and I even helped someone who was born in the same town that I grew up in. Abortion is common and essential health care. We always like to say that everyone loves someone who's had an abortion. 1 in 4 people who can get pregnant will have an abortion in their lifetime. So if you know more than 4 people who can get pregnant, you know someone who's had an abortion. And it's really crucial in this time that we support people from all walks of life who just can't afford hundreds or even thousands of dollars to overcome the myriad of barriers that exist today to access abortion in this country. I want to close by saying that abortion is a family issue, it's an economic justice issue, a racial justice issue, and it's also a community responsibility when so many people are being failed by their elected officials. And that while we work to actualize the long-term fixes that we need for people to access care in their own communities, to access affordable and affirming abortion care, we owe it to our neighbors and to people who might not have considered themselves our neighbors in places as far as Tennessee and Florida and Texas, but who are relying on us now to be a strong community and continue to be there for them when they need us most. I'm so grateful to be here, like I mentioned earlier. I'm so grateful that a repro Shabbat even exists. As someone who grew up Catholic, I am always just so in awe by the longstanding support that the Jewish community has shown for reproductive rights and access, and the fact that I can be in a faith space and talk about my work openly is just so healing for me. And really now more than ever, it's just so awe-inspiring and hopeful to be in community spaces where I can look around and see people nodding when I say, you know, abortion is healthcare, abortion is common, and abortion should be something that anybody who wants it is something that they can access. I would love to talk with folks if you're interested in getting involved. There's little cards sprinkled around that you can pick up and learn more about the Chicago Abortion Fund, but you can also visit chicagooabortionfund.org. We have a huge campaign coming up where we're trying to raise $300,000 directly to pay for abortion care, as well as travel needs for our callers by May 31st. So if you're interested in being involved in that, there's a lot of trainings, community mobilizations, things of that nature. It's called the Fundathon. We would also love to have folks be monthly sustainers if that's something that you can work into your regular commitments. But also we just need more unapologetic abortion access supporters, people who are loud. I can't even tell you how many folks I've worked with where they don't have anyone in their community to turn to. They don't know who they can ask for support. They don't know who they could ask for a ride. They don't know who they could ask to watch their kids. And just knowing that in this room, I see people who would be there for their communities and would be there for someone that I was working with. It's really beautiful. And I really just encourage everyone to be loud and proud about your support for abortion access, because you never know who might in the future need your support. So thank you so much. And again, it's an honor to be here.
Thank you so much, Alicia. And she's going to be sticking around after services to talk if you want to get more involved or have questions. And so will Alex. I'm thinking about all of the stories of people like in this room and beyond who have shared with us, and who I think, you know, we could do this again and again and share stories like Alex's, or like the stories that many of you hold. That express just how important it is not to assume anything about anyone's story, and just to hold it all with love and sensitivity, and great fierce commitment to try to do what it is that you're here to do, and what our state, thank God, can continue to provide for other people. Let's keep it going. Let us stand and turn to 32 as we begin to close out our service together. All right. Aleinu l'shabbat l'adon hakol, l'tekilah le'otzer bereshit, shelo asanu k'grei haratzot, ve'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, ve'gor aleinu k'ho hamonam, ve'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamelachim hakadosh baruch hu.
Of those that we're thinking of into this space. We think of Shiri and Ariel and Kfir Bibas and Oded Lifshitz, among the many Israelis and Palestinians killed in this ongoing tragedy. Any other names? We turn to page 34 for Kadisha Tome, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitzgadal vitkadash shemei rabam.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach yirutei v'amlich malchutei. Bechayachon uvyomechon uvchaye zechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shmei rabba mevarach le'olam omei almayam. Yitbarach v'ishtabach v'pa'ar v'troman v'tnaseh. Vit hadar, vit ale, vit halal, shemei dekudusha, brichu, la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Val Koyush Ve Tevel, V'imru Amen. Yehi Zichronam Livracha. May all their memories be for a blessing. We do. We have sustenance.
Oh, we've got two. Well, I brought this pretty thing back from Jerusalem with me. Bought from a nice Palestinian shop owner in the old city. Who was like, can't we all just get along? And I was like, I know.
Jonah, here,
right.
let's.
So we're going to stand. We're on page, well, if you want to join us, we're on page 30 for Kiddush. Baruch atah
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddeshanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit. Ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'chata, tanu kidashta, im kol ha'amim, b'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu.
Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo.
Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. L'chaim. We're going to reveal the challah.
Big reveal.
Reveal. We're going to reach our hands towards somebody who's reaching their hands towards somebody who's reaching their hands to the challah.
Shoulder massage.
Another shoulder massage. Only if you ask the person first, please.
That's hard.
Especially if you don't know them. We'll bless this bread together.
Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Amen. Shabbat shalom. I'm going to have a little bit of this. Pass it around. Shalom aleichem, malachei yesharei, malachei elyon, mi melech. There's food and drink in the next room. More wine and bread in there. Shalom aleichem, malachei yesharei, malachei elyon, mi melech, malachei hamelachim. Baruch hu Adonai, shalom aleichem, malachei yesharei, malachei elyon, mi melech, malachei hamelachim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Boachem, Boachem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Barchuni, Barchuni L'Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim. HaKadosh Baruch Seitem, Seitem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Good Shabbos. Somebody open that door so people know that they can go get the food. Otherwise, there'll be too many leftovers for me to eat.
Shabbat shalom. everyone.
Shabbos.